Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So I understood this event as a chance to nourish those who are beginning their bhakti. Am I understanding correctly?
Yes.
Okay. I see many established bhakti yogis in the audience. So with their permission, I will address those who are younger in spiritual stature. Om Jnana-Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militang Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We want to deal with the basics, the foundational dynamics of your life. What's underneath the bonnet? The engine. What's going on in the engine of your life? What are the ingredients of the dynamics that are motivating you to do things? It's always good to take some time out for evaluating the platform that you're standing on, because you may find that that platform you're standing on is very shaky or even non-existent. In other words, we imagine that we are secure in a very temporary body, in a very temporary world. So what do we do with this temporary body in this temporary world? We look for temporary happiness, temporary success, temporary fulfillment. And we think we'll be satisfied with that. Some of you may say, I know it's all temporary, but so what? But even if you agree to tolerate, even if you agree to tolerate the temporariness, the flickering nature of material happiness, still, tolerate or not, it's going to end. So sometimes people think that we shouldn't dwell on such thoughts, that there'll be an end, because that ruins everything. But when you understand the bhakti knowledge that Krishna gives in Bhagavad Gita, you can turn this off, please. If you can understand the bhakti knowledge that Krishna gives in Bhagavad Gita, you see beyond the comings and goings of material nature, material happiness, material bodies. You see, as long as we are putting our hopes, our trust in material nature, we're going to be disappointed. Why? Why can't we just accept temporariness, insubstantiality? Why can't we just say, all right, that's the way it is, let it be? But because we are spirit soul, we yearn for lasting happiness, lasting love, lasting relationships. So even if we say, I don't mind the temporariness, I'll accept it, I'll go with it. We say like that, but we cannot be satisfied that way, because we are non-material beings. So bhakti knowledge means to accept the reality of our being non-material, instead of running away from that reality or ignoring it. Once you understand this central problem, you can see why you are dissatisfied. Just like it said, a fish can never be happy out of the water. Similarly, outside of our spiritual dimension, we can't be happy. We're like a fish flopping on the beach of dry land, longing to get back to the ocean. recently in New Zealand was headline event that some sea turtles who have been washed up on the beach and then taken to an animal care facility for repairing, nourishing. So after some months in the animal care facility, they were going to be returned to the ocean. So a huge crowd assembled at the beach to watch these big sea turtles being put back into the ocean. People were crying. It was a very emotional event. And you can just understand, probably 90% of the hundreds of persons gathered there were cow eaters. But they said, this is so emotional, returning the sea turtles to the ocean. Of course, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, we see the true equality of all beings, not based on the body. We don't see equality based on the body, but we see it based on the spirit soul. So you may say that even though material existence is temporary, and especially, as you've already experienced, material satisfaction is temporary, you may say, let me just accept that and push on with my life. Soldier on in the war for material happiness. You may say that, but as we already said, your efforts will come to an end. Your body will come to an end. And your so-called happiness, the experiences of material happiness will end. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna wants to take you to another level. He wants you to build your life on another platform. So remember, what's the underlying reason why you can't be satisfied with material life? It's because you're not material. Oh. The lights start to go off in your brain. If I'm not material, how can material happiness satisfy me? You'd be surprised, or you wouldn't be surprised, how difficult it is for people to make this calculation. Many people talk about being spiritual, but they have no idea of what is non-material happiness, non-material fulfillment. And because they have no knowledge, therefore they are forced to act in illusion, even though they say, oh, I'm spiritual, I'm religious. So what Krishna is giving you in Bhagavad Gita is a program for re-engineering your whole life so that you're not victimized by the energy of illusion. The energy of illusion belongs to Krishna, as he says in Bhagavad Gita, Daivi Esha Gunamayi, Mama Maya Durayaya. Krishna says, this illusory energy is mine, it belongs to me. And it's almost impossible for you to overcome it. If you think about it, some of you are very sharp and very perceptive. Think about it, the nature of the illusory energy. Even though you know it's an illusion, you still can't resist. Krishna says, Ma me bhi prapadyante, maya me tam tarantite. But if you do things Krishna's way, if you accept Krishna's plan, then you can cross over the ocean of illusion. Ordinarily, though, you can't. On your own, you can't. Suppose, I was speaking about this in Brisbane. Suppose you are known to be an expert swimmer. Anyone here who spends a lot of time swimming? I don't think so. Anyone? You may be an expert swimmer and you're dropped in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Yes, you are expert, but will it save you? Will you be able to reach the shore, either on one side of the ocean or the other? So this is an example of the futility, the uselessness of our material expertise. The only way, if you've been dropped in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, the only way that you can get out is if someone comes along and plucks you out of the ocean, puts you on a boat or in a helicopter or something, an airplane, submarine, something. You can't get out. You can't reach the shore on your own power. But we can look like we are very expert for a short moment. I often tell the story of a true event that happened in New Zealand. How many of you have been to New Zealand? Raise your hand. Yes. So there's a very famous tourist spot. The whole country is famous for tourism, but there's a especially touristy spot known as the Hookah Falls. I don't know if anyone's been there. And it's a waterfall. So many busloads of tourists from Japan and Korea go there because their culture emphasizes waterfalls as being very impactful place. So before the water goes over the waterfall, it's like a river that runs for a couple of kilometers or so, and then the river turns into a waterfall, and down the water goes, and then continues at the base of the waterfall, continues as a river. So one person decided to ride his canoe over the waterfall. So he started way back in the river, before the river hit the waterfalls. And so you can just imagine how, he was an expert canoeer, how expert he was looking, paddling his canoe in the river. But then he's going to hit the waterfalls. Still, he was confident. He hit the waterfalls, and of course, everyone knew what was going to happen. He was thrown out of the canoe, of course, and he's at the bottom of the waterfalls with the water pouring all over him. He's an expert swimmer, but that wouldn't help him. He's caught at the bottom of a waterfall. Sometimes he would come up for air, and then go down, and then come up and go down. People could comment, oh, look at his beautiful style. What kind of swimming attire is he wearing? Is it the latest fashion, the latest style? Would you say that? No, you would be horrified. He's finished. And there were busloads of Japanese tourists watching. So, why did this man do this? And of course, that was the end of him. No one could rescue him at the base of a waterfall. No one was going to go out there and try to rescue him. And he couldn't, he was expert at swimming, but how long could he last struggling? You've all seen waterfalls before? Yes. Maybe on photos or video clips, or maybe you've seen it, you're right there at a waterfall. Mm-hmm. So this is our situation. We have momentary expertise, which we are very proud of. We have momentary strength, momentary intelligence, and we think, I will be successful. How do you measure success? Duration, how long it's going to last? Satisfaction? You won't get the duration and you won't get the satisfaction. So where is the real success? And your interior is unknown to you. So it's very important to get in touch with the dynamics of your life. What's driving you forward? Rather than just moving on autopilot. Going through life on autopilot. Well, everyone is doing like that, so I'm also doing like that. Why are you doing like that? I don't know, but everyone's doing like that. Is that how you want to live your life? Why should I think? No one's thinking. What's the career reward for thinking? Does it give you a promotion? Does it give you a higher salary? No. So what's the point in thinking? Sometimes even your relatives, if they would hear that you're coming to such a gathering, they'd say, why are you thinking so much? Just make money. Get the PR, make money. Pass the English test. What more do you want out of life? Do everything on autopilot, like a robot. Marry on autopilot, have children on autopilot, buy a house on autopilot. Is this going to be your life? But you are from Bharat, you are Bharatiyas, meant to have the highest knowledge, the highest lifestyle, so you can benefit the whole world. So what is driving you forward? It's the quest for flavor. It's maybe hard for you to understand this, but the bhakti science of rasa is so important for your life. Rasa means a particular flavor. There are material rasas or material flavors, and there are spiritual flavors. So why are you doing what you're doing? Yes, it's because others have told you to do like that. But even though others have told you to do like what you're doing, still you have a hope for flavor. By doing it, I'll get a particular flavor. I'll get the flavor of social acceptance. I'll get the flavor of respectability. I'll get the flavor of having done what I'm told. See, all that involves flavors. If I do the right things, as people consider the right things, I'll get a particular flavor. I'll feel good. I'm doing what you want. I went to Australia and I became successful. So that's a flavor that's driving us onward. I was discussing this with one of my brothers. He was about to retire. He was at the top of the Toyota world with an international portfolio and a North American portfolio. He was previously general counsel for the whole world of Toyota, the top lawyer for the whole world. So he was considering retiring at the age of 62. Just a couple of months ago, he came to Australia to oversee all the Toyota dealers in Australia, and then he went to New Zealand to oversee all the Toyota dealers in New Zealand. He's been to the White House meeting the presidents of the USA. And so he said, I'm thinking of retiring at 62, but don't tell anyone because Toyota, they want me to stay. So he asked me, what do you think? I said, what do I think? I retired at the age of 21. I said, finally you're catching up. Here you are thinking you're retiring at 62. I retired at 21. I retired at 21 after graduating from university because I wanted a particular flavor that material life couldn't offer me. He's retiring at 62. He already retired just a few days ago. But they said, no, please don't go completely. They made him on the board of directors for all of Toyota. And then one big airlines in the USA, Southwest Airlines, said, please be on our board of directors. So here he is thinking he's made a complete getaway, now he can be free. But he couldn't resist because there's a flavor that he's after. Respectability, feeling that you're an expert. I'm on the board of directors. That's a flavor. Social respectability, corporate fame. And when I retired at the age of 21, it was because I was pursuing a flavor, the Krishna flavor. Now, you don't have to retire at the age of 21. That was just my approach to bhakti. But 90% of you here will practice bhakti, well, in the working world, at the university world, in the family world. So you've retired, but not in the same way as I retired. Just like Arjuna retired. Bhagavad Gita is all about the retirement of Arjuna. How did Arjuna retire? By simply acting according to what Krishna wants. Even though Arjuna is a family man and a military man, he's retired because he's just acting as an instrument according to Krishna's direction. Arjuna is not a sannyasi, he's not a brahmachari. He's not living like a mystic yogi in some cave in the Himalayas. Arjuna is a family man and a military man, but he's retired. He's just acting according to Krishna's direction. And that is the supreme flavor, to act according to Krishna's direction. So what flavor are you pursuing? You have to ask yourself. Make an honest appraisal, an honest evaluation of what's driving you onward. Just like a family man or a family woman, they're tasting the flavor of sacrificing for the family. They hope there'll be emotional fulfillment. There's a flavor thereafter. That's why people marry and have families, because they hope to get a particular flavor. At the workplace, you're working because you want a particular flavor. You may say, I'm just working because I have to pay the bills. But that's a particular flavor. All the bills are paid. There's a flavor. In the days before there was so much electronic banking and digital this and digital that, when everything came through the post, I remember my father, he had a special antique desk for paying the bills. All the bills would come in envelopes through the post, and he would put the envelopes on the desk, and then he would sit at that special antique desk for bill paying. He had a very opulent letter opener. And he would slice open the envelope, and then you write a check. That's the way it was back then, or electronic money transfer. You write a check and put the invoice and the check in the reply envelope sent by whoever's billing you. So he would sit at that desk with great satisfaction, I remember. And I was always wondering, of course, we appreciated Father's paying the bills, he's supporting the family. Don't get me wrong about that. But I was watching as a little kid. You're sitting at this antique desk with satisfaction, but you're paying bills. So I asked him about it once. I said, "What's the thrill, Dad?" "Son, you don't understand. One day you'll understand." I still don't understand. So please don't think that bhakti means neglecting your responsibilities to your family, to taking care of your health. No. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, no one can be a yogi who eats too much or eats too little, sleeps too much or sleeps too little. You have to know how to have a regulated, balanced lifestyle. That's part of the bhakti science. So in order to get a grip on your lifestyle, you have to know what's driving you onward. What you're looking for is a particular flavor. In relationships, how many of you here are married? Raise your hand. How many here plan to get married? Raise your hand. No. You're afraid to declare yourself in public? You want that. You want marriage because you are hoping to get a particular flavor. First of all, there's the flavor of doing what others have told you to do. You're in Australia, you've got the PR, now it's time to marry. All right. There's a flavor in that. And then once you're married, it's time to buy the house. There's a flavor in that. And then my brother, who just retired from Toyota, he knows what comes next in Australia because their marketing research department has done lots of research. They know that when persons from India first move to Australia, they don't buy a car. Or at best they buy a used car. But once they get the PR, and once they marry, the first car is Toyota Camry. My brother knows. And then after 10 years of Toyota Camry, when they're moving higher in the career, then Mercedes, Tesla. But first, Toyota Camry, family car. And then you dream of Tesla or Mercedes. I know one devotee was working as a Tesla salesman in the USA. And he was in the showroom where the vehicles are, and people come and, they look at the vehicle in the car showroom and dream and sit down in it. And he says, every day I meet at least 20 persons from BART. and they come and they sit next. They stand next to the Tesla and then have someone take a photo, and then they send the photo to India. This is me in my car. This devotee got so tired of this happening that he changed jobs. He said, all day long, I'm just watching persons come from Mumbai, Delhi, these wallas, they come and they stand in front of the vehicle and they don't buy it, they just want a photo taken. And then they send the photo back to India to their relatives. See, this is my car. So there's a certain flavor to respectability, acceptance. In everything we do, we're pursuing a particular flavor. So what Krishna is presenting in Bhagavad Gita is the bhakti flavor. You see, the problem with material flavors are that they don't endure. So you either get frustrated and angry because of that, or you change what you're doing. All right, what I was doing before has faded in my, I don't get the same thrill anymore. I don't get the same satisfaction. So let me change to something else. So this is material life. Constantly changing, constantly juggling. You've seen a juggler before, yes? Juggling so many items. Yeah. So that's what material life is like. Because one thing won't satisfy you, so you try to juggle many things. All because you want a flavor that endures. So Krishna is offering the best flavors, the bhakti rasa. The material flavors do not endure. They don't last. No matter how hard you try. And yes, we try very hard, don't we? High hopes, big dreams. Sometimes people say, well, I'm not doing this for high hopes. I'm not doing this for dreams. I'm just doing my duty. But there's a flavor to that. Being dutiful is a flavor. And you want recognition for that. Don't you see? I'm doing my duty. Do you see? So we're trapped in the world of flavor seeking. So you have to find what is the best flavor. And that's what Krishna is offering in the bhakti lifestyle. The flavor that endures. It's so difficult these days in material life to find flavors that last for a few years. As you know, even the marriage flavor these days is not lasting. Everything is like that in the material realm. Flavors that are impermanent. So then you may get frustrated and say, what's the use? Life is meaningless. Life is cold and cruel. But no, you don't have to become angry like that. There is the Krishna flavor. So once you understand your problem, you're able to make a solution. What's your problem? You can read in the beginning of Nectar of Devotion by Srila Prabhupada. The problem is called Chapala Sukha, flickering happiness. Happiness that comes and goes so quickly like a shooting star. How many of you have seen a shooting star in the sky before, in the night sky? You're walking with your friends at night, and you look up, or you just happen to be staring at the sky, and psh, you turn to your friends. Did you see that? Did you see that? No, I didn't see anything. That's like material happiness. But no one wants to admit that they don't have it. Material happiness, did you get it? Yeah, I got it. They're lying. Krishna is offering you superior satisfaction. Superior satisfaction means not on the material foundation, not on the material platform. That's why you can be a bhakta, be a devotee, because you're trading inferior pleasure for superior pleasure. That means superior flavor, the bhakti rasa, the flavors of loving devotional service. Now, as we've explained before, everyone is always serving at every moment. You cannot find one split second, 1 millisecond of your life in which you're not serving. You know that, right? Can someone here tell me that they have a part of their life, even for a second, that they're not serving? You're either serving others, family, boss at work, lecturer at the uni, paying for this, paying for that, you're serving, paying GST, service. If you become an Australian citizen, you have to vote, service. Even if you're just sitting or laying down idle, you're serving. You're serving your mind. And you know how the mind is so active. Even at night, it's so active. Even while you're sleeping, you dream, whether you remember it or not. You're serving the dreams, serving the mind in that way. So once you understand you're always serving, the next step is to find out what is the best way to serve. That's why understanding bhakti rasa, the flavors of bhakti, understanding Krishna is so important. Superior flavor that endures, that is not finished when the body is finished. So you may say, I don't mind that material flavors are finished when the body is finished. But by your pursuing material flavors, you're risking losing your human form of life in your next birth. The human life is meant for pursuing spiritual flavors. So the Shastra explains to us, why should nature give you another human body if you're not going to pursue spiritual flavors? Pursuing material flavors leads to material bodies in your next life and the life after that. But the human body gives you the advanced consciousness by which we can have a talk like we're having now. You don't want to lose your human body. So it's not an innocent thing to pursue material flavors. You may excuse yourself. I'm just doing what everyone else does. I'm not harming anyone, or I'm not trying to harm anyone. It happens sometimes, but that's life. It's the way the cookie crumbles. You may excuse yourself like that, but material nature is very strict. You don't need a human body in your next life. You can be a wombat, kangaroo. Don't you look at all these different creatures and think, I could have been that? How many of you think like that? No one. You don't go to the zoo? They have a zoo here? Yes. You go to the zoo and think, I could have been one of those creatures? Yes. It's true. Just like there are so many different types of cars, vehicles. Similarly, nature has a vehicle for you, a body for you that matches your karma and your mentality. So it's a great tragedy that this knowledge has been lost in human society. That loss means human society has lost its way in the darkness. People don't care. So what if I am not a human anymore? I remember I was speaking once in Melbourne at one of our urban outreach centers. And there was a room of about 20 Australians. No one from Bart. So we were talking about changing bodies. And I asked, tell me, I just threw it out very quickly, has anyone here ever considered pig consciousness? Half the room raised their hands. They had thought about being a pig. But I was astonished. Yes, they said, yeah, pigs. They have a good time. Unless you're a factory farmed pig. This is a great tragedy that persons would consider that for their next birth. And what about you? What are you considering for your next birth? Where's the career training for that? Where's the career training for your next body? But in the bhakti world, you are preparing for the best possible body in your next life and the best possible satisfaction in this life. So we invite you to the world of bhakti flavors, bhakti rasa. Because the flavors are directly connected to Krishna. Not only do they endure, not only do they last, but they unlimitedly satisfy you. They satisfy you in an ever-increasing way. So those who seriously take to the process of chanting Hare Krishna, they're on the road to ever-increasing satisfaction. It may take some time to attain that goal, but at least from the very beginning, you'll feel relief from material distress. Feeling relief from material distress is not the goal of bhakti, but it gives you that effect automatically in the beginning. The goal is the flavors of satisfying Krishna. A material person thinks, I will get satisfaction by attaining the goal of this material experience or that material relationship. Such satisfaction is so tiny. It's not enough to fulfill you. There's something there, but it's not enough. The example often given is, instead of being dropped in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, you are now dropped in the middle of the Sahara Desert. And you're dying of thirst. And I come along in a helicopter. And on the sides of the helicopter is painted in big letters, water. And there you are, crawling on the hot sand, about to die of thirst. And you are able to raise your eyeballs to the sky, and you see this helicopter with big letters on the side, water! Oh, how you would feel. The helicopter lands. I come out of the helicopter and walk towards you with a spoon in my hand. And on the spoon is one drop of water. And with my fingers of my other hand, I flick the drop of water onto your tongue. You've got water, right?
No.
No, you've got water. But it's not enough. So whatever pleasures you find in the material world are not enough. You could say, I've got pleasure. I've had good times. But it's not enough. It'll never be enough. Instead of one drop of water in the desert, we need oceans and lakes of water to fulfill us, to satisfy us. So in this way you can understand that we're all very thirsty. We're hungry for real nourishment, real satisfaction. That can only be attained by coming in contact with flavors directly connected to Krishna, the spiritual flavors. That's what the Bhakti life of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam is offering you. Taste the Krishna flavors. How many of you like prasad? Raise your hands. Even these young lads, they like prasad. Right? You like prasad?
Yeah.
Yeah? You like prasad because you're tasting Krishna, the Krishna flavors, the Bhakti Rasa. All right, any questions? Yes?
Hey Krishna Maharaj, you were explaining. Thank you for the class. You were explaining that Bhakti Rasa is the highest flavor, or at least the one that that will last forever. How can a teenager like me divert their focus and attention to Krishna consciousness, but also have a balanced lifestyle with like studies?
I studied. I got a Yale degree. So I'm not telling anyone not to study. Is that what you think?
Nah.
Then why you ask?
How to balance between both?
You simply use your intelligence to make a schedule and stick to it. At this time you'll do this, at that time you'll do that. But you know what your number one priority is. Your number one priority is your bhakti. You have to do your schoolwork. So you make time, appropriate time for that. So it's good that you're thinking like that. At what age?
15.
15. Very good. I wish I thought like that when I was 15. So with your parents, make a schedule that will work for you. Or can you discipline yourself? You have self-discipline? No. That's good to be honest. He doesn't have self-discipline, but he has parents who will
Yes.
keep you on track.
Yes.
When I was 15 years old, I was self-disciplined. I would get up in the morning at 4 o'clock, deliver newspapers in the neighborhood. I was financially self-sufficient when I was 15. And then come back after delivering 100 newspapers to 100 houses, come back, get some rest, study a little bit, then go to school. So I remember saying to my mother that, is there a better way to do this? Rather than my getting up 4 a.m. in the morning, delivering newspapers in the snow and in the rain, and then going to school. I said, is there a better way? She said, yes, make money by studying. Oh. Said, how do you do that? She said, you get scholarships. So that's what I did. So even at 15, 16, 17, I always had a lot of money because the schools would pay me, not only for the academic studies, but they give me living expense money too. So I I thought, this is a good deal. So if you become self-disciplined, you can do so much more. Of course, you know about Krishna. I didn't know about Krishna when I was 15. So you have the greatest advantage. All you have to do is add some self-discipline to the mixture. Like you want to be a doctor, yes?
Yes.
You're going to have to be self-disciplined. One of my other brothers is a doctor. It's like our Adi priest Krishna. He's a retired doctor, so I have a middle brother who's now a retired doctor. He was a medical CEO of a big medical charity. But I remember when he was going to med school. He married while he was in med school. And so I remember visiting him. I was a brahmachari, young brahmachari, visiting him. And he would never be home because he's doing his residency. What do they call it here in Australia? When the doctors have
Placement.
internship, yes. So he was doing that. So he was working 20 hours straight. And I remember visiting him as a brahmachari and entering his house, and his wife is crying on the couch. I never see him. I can't take it anymore. He's never here. Was it like that for you? I'll ask your wife. Was it like that?
We're both doing it, so it is.
Oh, okay. Now that he became a doctor, medical CEO, very successful, when I bring that up to him, he said, I don't remember that. I do. His wife is crying. I never see him. He's never around. I can't take it anymore. I was just a young brahmachari thinking, let me get out of here. So, if you want success in your material career as well as your topmost career, you have to be self-disciplined. Remember that. You have to add some self-discipline into your mixture. Anything else? We're having a good time here tonight. No other questions? I'm so shocked. No one has another. Don't say like that. You're triggering such a response to that. You have a question.
Yeah. How old were you when you were a brahmachari?
I became a brahmachari when I was 22. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I had graduated from university. I was hiding out from the corporate world. I thought that I must sort myself out, find out who I am and what is my purpose in this world before I just sign up for the working world, and I may not have another chance to think about myself until I'm 65 or 70 when I retire. You don't understand all that.
Prabhu, when you started Krishna consciousness? Maharaj. When you started Krishna consciousness?
When did I start Krishna consciousness? In this lifetime? As I said, when I was 21. started reading Prabhupada's books. Very special time in the USA then. Not like now in Australia, USA, UK, but especially in the USA. No one knew anything about India, except it was a starving country. Parents used to tell their children, finish all the food on your plate. Remember the starving children in India. My mother used to tell me that. Now what does my mother say? You spend so much time talking to all those Indian people. They're smart. They take the best jobs. So 50 years ago, she said they're all starving. Now, very smart people. They get all the best jobs. So there was no knowledge of yoga, meditation, Bhagavad Gita, no knowledge of physical yoga. 1972 in the USA, even in New York City, cosmopolitan place, India. People knew very little about it. No one knew anything about physical yoga, vegetarianism. Are you crazy? So to become a devotee back then, you had to be very courageous. Now it's easy. Giri Govardhan Prabhu has his group here. It's easy. Back then it was difficult. Even later in the 70s, when Prabhupada returned to India, it was very difficult for him. The Indian youth were not coming forward. Now they're coming forward in the thousands, but in the 70s, no. So to be a devotee in the 70s, whether you were from the USA or from India, you had to be very determined, very self-motivated. I want the best thing. So my mother sometimes says, how is it you've accepted this foreign religion? You're raised in a Christian family. Why are you accepting a foreign religion? I said, why does your other son work for Toyota, a Japanese company? She said, because Toyota makes the best cars. So I said, well, India makes the best spiritual wisdom. Yeah. She shut up after that. So?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes?
Maharaj, as you mentioned, you joined when you were 21. 50 years have gone past, and you've gone through a lot of ups and downs. And what kept you going stronger day after day in Krishna consciousness?
I felt so indebted to Srila Prabhupada, who gave me the greatest knowledge and a chance to live according to that greatest knowledge. Personal indebtedness to the representative of Krishna gives a special flavor that's out of this world. So shall we have some kirtan? All right. I have my kirtan instrument ready. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I have a question. What should I do so that Krishna recognize me?
become the servant of his servant. The more you are the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna, the more Krishna recognizes you. Okay? All right, some kirtan. Who are you're going to play Mridanga? You have another one?
Yeah, we have it. Yeah. You can play.
If possible. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Kirtan Adelaide. Leave a like and subscribe.